amici, ragazzi,
Amori,
bambini, bambini.
Uh,
I miss you so much, my sweet friends.
miss you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy
Oh,
New Year.
Costantino, you have a very nice face today.
See, it was about time.
Yeah.
I needed a facelift. How are you guys?
Here we are. No, I like most this face.
We are
Very
all black
good.
today.
Yeah, we're all black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Emilio, as usually, is a dramatic actor. Yes.
He's black on black.
Sebino, Sebino, where are you?
Yeah, he is also dark.
Sebino is
Geppi,
thinner and thinner.
look,
Sebino.
look your email, Geppi, please.
Okay. I will look my email. Okay.
Thank you.
Hello to Poland, Canada, London, France, Tunisia, Sweden, Armenia, Turkey, Germany, Chicago, the Netherlands, Romania, Ukraine. Hello from Barton-on-Sea. I don't know what's that.
What is Barton on Sea?
I don't know. Scotland, Spain, UK, Argentina, Honduras, Verona, Beirut, Berlin, Mexico. I had 2 weeks ago a false invitation for the Happy Sundays.
There is a competitor.
Really?
I
Happy
don't know.
Sunday. Is there an event Happy Sunday? Really?
Wow. No idea.
Algeria, Azerbaijan, Peru, Canada, Liverpool, Lecce, Australia. Of course. What else should somebody do at this time in Australia? What else? I mean,
What time is it in Australia?
3 o'clock in the morning. What else should you
For
do?
4 a.m. or something
Sleep?
like that.
Sleep? Come on.
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
It's 5 a.m.
Wow.
Between Monday and Sunday and Monday, or between Saturday and Sunday?
Monday.
Monday.
Sunday. This is a good, not good.
And
Tilak, thank you so
Estonia,
much for being with us.
and New Zealand, and Estonia, and South Africa, and Brazil, and Morocco, and Romania, and Antarctica.
Greenland. We need someone from Greenland.
Hey, Sebi,
Yeah. We
who
need
is
to
the other
speak.
Constantinos?
Our guest for today.
Ah,
Constant-
There is a guest. Let's
Konstantinos
see.
Lavras.
No, it's
Is it?
just Konstantinos.
It's just Costantino, because we are going to miss John Pauli, because nobody was inviting him.
It's so funny because I thought that Emilius for sure would have invited him.
There are some technical details that there is no need to be communicated to the audience. I mean, really, this does not
share everything.
We have to share
we need
this
to share
information.
everything with our friends. We need to share everything with our
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay. So Sebi, which is the question of the week?
This week we have 2 questions.
2 questions. Okay. Can we predict invasive melanoma with dermoscopy? Yes, no, sometimes. And then, can dermoscopy help us guess whether a melanoma is thin or thick? Yes, maybe, no. I trust my intuition. Yes. Let's see. So probably the topic for today, covered by our beloved Costantino, is thin or thick. Okay, yes, and sometimes we can predict invasive melanoma. And can the dermoscopy help us guess whether a melanoma is thin or thick? Yes, maybe. Okay, wonderful.
Did you
Okay,
see,
so we are going.
did you see
Yeah.
that there were two people voting that no, we cannot predict invasive melanoma with dermoscopy?
Yeah, which is by far, let's say, possibility. But we will try to convince them, our two friends, that it's possible. Very often, not always, but very often.
Most
Yeah.
cases.
Mostly.
You know,
Yeah.
Emilio, you always say that my first paper back in 1996, 6 or 7, I don't remember, was a paper on scabies. And my second
Yeah.
paper at that time was the melanoma prediction used, the melanoma thickness prediction using dermoscopy. Yeah.
Really?
You are
Yes.
great. You are always great.
Really. I did two papers, one only focusing on dermoscopy, in which we set up the fact that the absence of network and the presence of blue veil and vascular structures were in favor of a thick melanoma, while the presence of network was in favor of thin melanoma. And in the second paper, in this paper, we put together the palpability, the clinical palpability, and the dermoscopic criteria I just mentioned, providing an algorithm. So when we see a flat lesion, that's definitely less than 0.8 millimeter. And when it's a nodular lesion, that's for sure more than 0.8 millimeter. In the middle, we have the palpable lesions. And when we see network only, it's more on the side of thin melanoma. When you see blue-white veil and or vascular structures, you are more in favor of a thick melanoma. You see?
To be honest, the knowledge hasn't changed very much since then, JP.
Yeah.
You see how much well prepared I am. Whatever you say, immediately I can show it.
Wow, this is superb.
Try me. Say something else.
Yeah, no, it's better not to. Okay. So, Costantino, what are you going to choose?
So we're going to talk about identifying invasive melanomas and ideally predicting Breslow thickness, which I think that we've become quite good at. During the 80s and 90s, as we know, the ABCD rule changed our approach to melanoma and saved countless lives. However, our knowledge still had gaps. Both of these are atypical lesions, most likely melanomas, right?
Yep.
However, we missed something. What we missed was the bridge that dermoscopy actually offered us. We see this patient with some nevi. Is there anything that draws your attention?
Yes. The black
tiny,
one.
The black one.
Tiny black one.
Tiny black one. Less than 3 millimeters, still a melanoma in situ. Very easy to identify with dermoscopy. What do we dermoscopists see? What do we see is, in essence,
Blue
a
white.
horizontal section that corresponds to histopathologic features.
Yeah.
And we can identify different features that correspond to different things, and we can translate and additionally predict biologic behavior. What does the pathologist see? A very small portion of the lesion. In essence, in total, less than 1% of the lesion when examining a lesion like this. So dermoscopy allows for extensive analysis of the entire surface, in contrast to histopathology, which allows for cellular view of a focal area within an isolated lesion. And Our knowledge, since Zeppi's paper in 1996, has advanced. In which way has it advanced? I think that one of the most important things, and at least one of my big interests, is dermoscopy and histopathologic correlates, and how this transforms our knowledge and understanding of the potential biologic behavior of a lesion. So, for example, we have this lesion on the leg of a 72-year-old female. Invasive or in situ?
In situ.
Excellent.
Inside.
Invasive or in situ?
Invasive.
How much?
The upper part.
The upper part.
Mhm.
How invasive? Is it less or more than 1 millimeter?
Less than 1 millimeter.
In the
It's a
upper
bit
part is more.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 It's 1.4. And you can see it here, that's also raised, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, on the back of a 55-year-old male. Invasive or in situ?
In situ.
In situ.
Excellent. Here, on the back of a 35-year-old.
Invasive.
Invasive or invasive?
Invasive.
More or less than 1?
More.
More. More.
Less.
A bit
More.
more. A bit more.
1.1.
A bit more.
Ah,
1.1, exactly.
it's written.
Here, do we have any doubt that it's a melanoma? But invasive or in situ?
I2.
Excellent.
In situ.
On the leg of
Invasive.
excellent.
0.7.
0.7 exactly. Is this luck? What Emilio just did. Is this luck?
Yeah, a little bit.
We make our own luck. Predictors for invasive melanoma. Atypical blue-white structures, shiny white lines, and polymorphous vessels. And we see the correspondence. Why are these the predictors for invasive melanoma? What does blue-whitish veil, which corresponds to this blue-whitish color, correspond to histopathologically? First, in the definition of blue-whitish veil, we can call blue-whitish veil only a region that is found above raised part of a lesion. And histopathologically, it corresponds to compact orthokeratosis superlying a dermal melanocytic hyperplasia. So by definition, what we know is that the melanocytic lesion has broken the basal layer. It has started invading. You can also find it by palpation, and you will always see it above raised areas of the lesion. So we know that it's an invasive melanoma, and usually it's a deeper invasive melanoma. Shiny white structures, shiny white lines can only be seen with polarized light, indicating a vertical growth phase of the melanoma. Why? Because histopathologically, it corresponds to dermal fibrosis. Again, the melanocytic lesion has broken the basal layer, has started infiltrating, and as a response, we have fibrosis. So this is why we can predict this is a sign of invasion. And then polymorphous vessels. Of course, we can see vessels in situ melanomas, but these will only be dotted vessels. If we see these kind of vessels, yes, usually they will correspond to a deep invasive melanoma. And histopathologically, it corresponds to enlarged dermal vascular channels and chaotic neovascularization. What are the predictors for melanoma in situ? Atypical network, multiple small hyperpigmented areas, angulated lines, prominent skin markings, although we can discuss this, and extensive regression, without any other signs of invasion. Atypical network, hyperpigmented areas, angulated lines, skin markings, extensive regression. Atypical network. Atypical network corresponds histopathologically to the lines are formed by melanocytes and pigmented keratinocytes on the rete ridges, and the holes in the network correspond to the tips of the dermal papillae. Angulated lines, in essence, is exactly the same thing. It corresponds to melanocytes, atypical melanocytes, and pigmented keratinocytes, but where is it found? on extrafacial lentigo maligna. So over a flattened dermoepidermal junction because of solar elastosis. That's why we don't have the ridgy ridges to that extent in order to create the network, and we see only the lines. Confluent melanocytes and neuropigmented keratinocytes along a flattened DJ, like here. Irregular blotches, structureless black areas, off-centered on the lesion that cover the underlying dermoscopic features. Hyperpigmentation with an excess of melanin along the entire epidermis, with or without the presence of melanin in the dermis. Regression structures, scar-like depigmentation and peppering. Regression structures. Scar-like depigmentation is wider than the surrounding skin, while peppering is comprised of well-circumcised bluish dots. Scar-like depigmentation is usually found on deeper invasive melanomas. Flattened DJ with a typical nest of polymorphous melanocytes above an extensive dermal fibrosis, whereas peppering usually found. It can be found both on invasive melanoma and melanoma in situ. However, if we don't have any other features for invasive melanoma, very often a melanoma in situ will present with some sort of regression. And Emilius described this very nice in a paper where he showed that almost 50% of melanoma in situ show some form of regression, even as presented with a loss of pigmentation. So, in summary, for melanoma in situ, we need flat lesions. For invasive, raised lesions. Colors, brown and black. Whereas in invasive melanoma, we have gray, we have blue, we have white, scar-like depigmentation, red, polymorphous vessels, and pink, the vascular hue. And in terms of feature, atypical networks, multiple blotches, the angulated lines, the prominent skin markings, and usually peppering. So, flat, black and brown, melanoma in situ. Raised, multiple colors, invasive melanoma. Again, flat. Here, I have my doubts. So, Nisa, do you call this regression?
No.
Neither do I. Zepi?
Well, I would say yes.
You say yes.
Skin color.
Yeah, it's loss of pigment that in melanoma it's corresponding to kind of immunologic reaction against melanocytes.
I think, to be honest, because I have my disagreement with that. Well, actually, it's not a disagreement. I agree with you, but we need to make a better definition for this, because in essence, it's not regression. Yes, there is loss of pigment, but it's definitely not scar-like depigmentation, right? For regression, in our definition, we only. Sorry, Nisa, go ahead.
No fibrosis, no melanophages there, just skin-colored structureless area.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think that I agree with Zepi. Without it being, I think that we need to do punch biopsies from that thing and figure out what it is.
I guess it's not an issue of biopsy, because in the biopsy you would find just the loss of melanocytes. I think it's just a normal mechanistic phenomenon when you have the attack of the immune system and the destruction of cells of the melanoma, then these areas disappear. It's not necessary that they're gonna leave a scar behind. So
I'm not talking about scar. I'm talking about.
It's a very initial. That's
Yeah.
the point. It's a very initial phase of the inflammatory reaction against the atypical melanocytes. So still not capable to produce melanophages and fibrosis.
So it's the pre-stage of peppering, in essence.
well,
Yes.
peppering might occurred earlier. We don't know. Peppering might occurred, and then the melanophages disappeared, but without leaving scar behind. Scar is not a necessary phenomenon after regression. It might happen, but it also might not happen. So the absence of a scar does not exclude regression.
I absolutely agree on that. But to to me, I think that this is a pre-stage of peppering. So at first, you have the attack of the immunological system without the appearance of melanophages. Then you have the melanophages, and then scar may appear or not.
Well, who knows? Yeah, and regression also does not happen. It's not a static phenomenon. It might happen now and a little bit more later and a little bit more later. So it's not.
And then melanoma can become more aggressive, and you don't see the regression anymore.
Also, yeah, of course.
But why do we care? The reason that we care, and of course this applies mainly to European countries that usually do excisional biopsies. Well, actually, countries outside the US. Let's point it like that. A species melanocytic lesion should be excised with 2 millimeter clinical margins for diagnostic purposes. And the question that we should ask ourselves is, which complete excision rate do we desire for our melanoma patients? I personally, and I guess most of us, would like at least 95%. And this is a really nice paper from 2021 that showed that, in essence, in a continuous sampling of 2,782 consecutive excisions of atypical melanocytic lesions, the complete excision rate was only around 90%. Here, do we have any doubt that this is a melanoma in situ? No.
No.
I think that what we should do, and this is a practice-changing opportunity that at least I, and I think many of us, have been applying consecutively, is do this excision directly with 5 millimeter clinical margins and get it over with. Get rid of the second excision and be done with that. This is the wide margin approach, diagnostic excision with 2 millimeter clinical margin. And again, this is a not very well defined lesion. You can see that it kind of extends here. So if we go with 2 millimeters, we could potentially get a positive margin, 1 or 2 cells, but still. Whereas the new approach proposed by John, which I love, is do a wide margin approach. We know that this, on the worst case scenario, although the chances are very slim, this will be a very thinly invasive melanoma, less than 0.3. Okay? For sure, melanoma in situ, let's say that we missed something, less than 0.3. Do directly a 5 millimeter clinical margin excision and get it done with. So, different approach for different lesions. Of course, there are some features that need extra attention. Negative network, we know that they can appear on melanoma arising on nevus with an odds ratio of 2. Histopathologically, they correspond to hypomelanotic elongated junctional melanocytic nests surrounded by large melanocytic nests within the dermal papillae. But we need to check the entirety of the lesion. So here, of course, we have negative network. But what do we also have? Shiny white lines. This is a more deep invasive melanoma. And we have some red, this reddish hue. This is a more invasive melanoma. Streaks can be found both on in situ melanomas and invasive melanomas. What does it do? The rapid growth. We need to examine the entirety of the lesion. So here, of course, yes, there are streaks, there are irregular globules, but also there's the center of the lesion with a lot of shiny white lines, a lot of blue, a lot of gray, so a more deep invasive lesion. And the irregular dots and globules, yes, when they are black and brown, we know that they are above the DJ based on the Tyndall phenomenon. However, we need to examine the rest of the lesion because, yes, at this point, it will be a melanoma in situ, but here we have a way more deep melanoma. And to complete, we make our own luck. We need to familiarize ourselves better with all these conditions and with the correspondence to histopathological features so that we can perform more efficient patient care.
Bravo Costantino,
Fantastic.
bravo.
Presentation.
That's one of the reasons why we wanted to invite John, because he is definitely, let's say, in charge, let's say, leading a project which is very interesting to make a randomized trial in order to understand if the WISE approach is more convenient, efficient in terms of time and resources and so on, comparing to the wide approach. And I'm pretty sure he will be successful.
Isn't the immune system that causes regression a question in the Q&A? Yeah, of course. Yes, it is the immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you do the guessing of the depth, you are guessing to within a fraction of a millimeter. I'm happy with the in situ versus invasive, but how do you guess how deeply invasive it is?
Excellent question. So let's get some examples and let's do a live thing. Until I find it, please continue, Emilios. Let's get some melanomas and do the exercise together.
Yeah, next question. Then, if you do a direct wide excision and end up with invasive melanoma, does it not affect the sentinel lymph node? Or is it considered certain that there will be a blue veil, vessels, and scarring at the stage that requires removal of the sentinel lymph node? Yeah, very good point. Let's say that these are the two potential drawbacks of the WISE approach. This is the one that you mentioned, Eleni, which means that in case the melanoma in the end was 0.9, for example, which means that it justifies a sentinel lymph node biopsy, then the 5 millimeters that we took at the beginning was not a good idea because this makes the sentinel lymph node not so reliable. So that's one drawback. The other drawback, of course, that we should mention is that in some of these cases, that in the end will not be melanomas, so that they're going to be false positive in dermoscopy, suspicious in dermoscopy, but in the end not melanomas, then in this small proportion of lesions, we will have done an overtreatment. I mean, a wide excision of a solar lendigo, let's say, or of a nevus potentially. Yeah, I mean, so the point is that if we apply the WISE approach, it should be in lesions that we are quite sure that they cannot be thick over 0.5, which means that they do not display at all gray and blue color practically. We only see.
The point is to apply the method, to apply the method of the 5 millimeter directly instead of the 2 millimeter approach, only with flat lesions in which we are pretty sure it's a melanoma and showing no blue-white veil, no vascular structures, no white lines, and so on only network and some degrees of regression.
Yeah,
so this is based.
Yeah. Okay, let's do some random examples to which we could apply that. These are consecutive patients. We'll see them together. Patient, extensive sun damage, presents with this lesion on the back. And this dermoscopy. Can you apply here the WISE excision? Flat?
Well, actually, not sure, because here I'm not sure this is a melanoma. It could eventually be lichenoid keratosis.
Excellent. Okay, even if it is a lichenoid keratosis, if you do on the back a 5 millimeter excision, what changes? If it is a melanoma. If it is a melanoma.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Yeah.
Here. Are we sure that this?
No, we're not sure about this.
We're not sure. Exactly.
We're not sure it is a melanoma, but we're not sure how thin it is. Yeah.
It's 0.8.
Yeah.
It is 0.8. So, okay, here you will not apply it.
Yes, but was this a palpable lesion? Yes, of course.
Yes, palpable lesion.
Yes. Okay.
Let me see it. Yeah, palpable lesion. Here,
Yeah.
palpable.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah,
Palpable lesions cannot be treated with the WISE approach.
this one.
Probably yes.
Yes, melanoma inside.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This one.
Flat,
Okay, no way, no way,
flat,
no
No.
way.
no.
This is
1.2.
invasive. 1 point, yeah.
1.2. Would you go with a narrow excision? So
Yes.
of course you can individualize. The thing is that okay, this lesion. Of course we will
Yeah,
go.
it's a very, very thick one.
It's a very thick one.
But let me tell you now something very, very revolutionary.
Go.
The WISE approach could also be used for the very thick ones.
How?
True that. True
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
By the way, Emilius just popped out in my photos, just so you know.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
just let me explain. I mean, the notion, the thinking behind is that in the very thick ones, nowadays the trend is to do only wide excision and then adjuvant immunotherapy. Therefore, if the melanoma is 4 millimeters thick, 5 millimeters thick, then you just need the wide excision and over from a surgical point of view over. Then we have to do, of course, adjuvant immunotherapy. So theoretically speaking, but very theoretically, that could be also applied in this kind of tumors.
It's in the in between category, and especially 0.8 to 2 that needs a bit more.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
There are more questions, right?
What has the research into the use of imiquimod for melanoma in situ removed with another? Okay, but Hilary, this was just about lentigo maligna and not about any other type of melanoma. And
Only face. Only face.
yes, and the results were very, very positive. So the use of imiquimod after narrow margin excision of lentigo maligna allows for a response rate of more than 95%, recurrence rate for less than 5% for lentigo maligna in situ, of course. So it's definitely a thing that we do it in practice, but this is exclusively for lentigo maligna and not for any other types of melanoma.
But let me just add, Emilios, that there was a really nice recent paper from Clio De Signotti showing that in the re-excision of melanoma in situs, less than 1% had some findings. So in essence, very commonly, we can even skip the re-excision of melanoma in situ. And I think this is where the trend will go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a halo nevi on an elderly person, it's suspicious, correct? Is the melanoma there, or can the melanoma be in another place instead? Both options. There are some, let's say, some melanomas that can eventually show a halo phenomenon around. It's rare, but it does exist. But also, you can have patients developing halo phenomenon as a reaction for the around nevi. You can get halo phenomenon as a reaction for the presence of melanoma somewhere else. So yeah, these two things must be taken into consideration in these cases.
Do you really consider that 3 millimeter difference can really change the result of the sentinel lymph node biopsy? Good point, Valentina.
Exactly, that's the point. That's the point.
We cannot
They
be
do not
sure.
affect anything.
Yeah.
No,
We cannot
that's
be
the
sure.
point.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
the point. They do not affect anything. Anything.
Yeah.
yeah. Theoretically, we should be as close as possible, but we cannot say which is the threshold after which, I mean, the sentinel lymph node might change. It also depends also on the location, because the some parts of the skin are the lymphatics are much more convoluted, and the network is much more plexiform, let's say, like on the face. So we cannot answer with a definite threshold. What about the scalp? Wide excision? Same.
Well, yeah.
Same.
The point is that very often we prefer to do a small biopsy before in order to, because sometimes it's difficult the reconstruction. Therefore, yeah, I still prefer to be sure about the diagnosis and then do the treatment accordingly.
Yeah, of course, it depends on the size also. Depends on the size of the lesion also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you please post the reference for the percentage of adequate excision being only about 90%? George asks for I think that's the ref from John, the one that George asks for. Konstantinos, I think you showed it in your presentation, the reference, the paper that showed that adequate excisions are performed in only 90% of melanomas.
Yeah, it's from ACTA Dermatology. Let me just tell you the reference. Yeah. It's called, I'll put it on the chat.
Okay.
Great.
So should a single halo nevus in an adult be excised regardless of how the nevus looks? No. Let's say so. In generally speaking, halo nevi are, of course, much more frequently seen in children, in young adults. It's much less frequently seen in, let's say, 60 or 70 or 80-year-old persons. Of course, there is a clinical judgment as usual, but if I see a halo lesion in a 70-year-old person, independently from the morphology, I feel a little bit unconfident, you know what I mean? While if I see a 40-year-old person with a regularly looking halo lesion, I still feel confident that this could be only a halo nevus. So it depends, as usually, from the clinical constellation.
Senai says that 2 per 2 is 4, 5 per 5 is 25. So very different area, meaning that the wise excision results in a much wider excision as compared to the 2 millimeter. Correct. But remember that anyhow, since it's going to be a melanoma, you are supposed to do at the second time point, the second wide excision. So you're going to reach anyhow the 25 square centimeters. So the idea of the wise excision is that you do it at once, so you don't need to do 2 surgeries, but you do it from the beginning. Of course, as Konstantinos shortly mentioned, there is a new trend that in melanoma in situ, maybe we don't even need these 25 square millimeters. But this is, I would say, a little bit advanced for the moment.
It's a bit more advanced, but I think that we're getting there.
For the moment, yeah. So the 2 millimeters might be enough, and that's the end of the story. But that's a little bit later. I would say we're gonna be discussing it in the next years. Alberto says that a lesion punch biopsy and diagnosed as invasive melanoma should then be excised with 2 millimeter margin, regardless of breast flow, before sending lymph node or wide excision. That's a good point. That's a good question. And I don't think that there is a universal answer to this. Depends.
It depends. If it's already, let's say, more than 0.8 millimeter in the punch, then you can treat the lesion accordingly with sentinel node biopsy and wide excision. But if it's in situ and maybe the lesion is suspicious to be more than that, yeah, better to do a 2 millimeter margin.
Yeah. So it really goes case by case what you ask, Alberto. Okay. I think we got all questions. Could it be that we got all questions?
Okay.
I think so.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But Jeppy, remind me in this old study that you did, which, by the way, the idea was more or less, if not precisely, the same. So
Exactly.
why did you care about this? Because in those lesions that would be assessed as very thin, you would go directly to a wide excision, or not? That was the idea.
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
happened? Remind me what happened, and you abandoned the idea back then.
Yes, because I got a lot of negative comments by the community, by the oncologists, by the surgical oncologists, and so on. So I decided, okay, I surrender.
What to talk about?
No, I remember also something else that you excised at some point, a lesion that was a seborrheic keratosis, something like this.
Yes, this was also the wrong message that was going through this paper. That if you think it's a melanoma and you think it's a thin or thick melanoma, you act accordingly. While it was not like this. It was just for thin melanoma. So some surgeons started to behave like this. I see a thick melanoma, I immediately do wide excision and sentinel node biopsy. And it happened that we did wide excision, and our plastic surgeon, by the way, not us, but our plastic surgeon decided to treat a seborrheic keratosis, which was mimicking, of course, a thick melanoma, with wide excision and sentinel node biopsy. So that's why I said, okay, come on, let's stop this.
Let's stop this.
But this seborrheic keratosis never recurred.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Guys, can I show you a case? Just one case.
absolutely.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. This is the case. And this is a very recent case that I examined 2 weeks ago. And we can all guess that this is a regressive melanoma. And this is the pigmented part, primary part, and this part is all regression. And let's have a look at the dermatoscopy. And according to this part, what's your guess about Breslov thickness?
More than 0.8.
1.2.
1.2. And
One.
Konstantinos?
1.
Yeah, so we have here polymorphic vessels and pink and some sort of grayish part, and this was not elevated. I also guess something like 1.1, and Breslov is really 1.1 here.
Great.
And let's have a look at the regressive part. So it's not skin colored. We can see some white lines and melanophages at the periphery. And let's have a look at with sub-UV mode, which is very interesting because, let's go back, we didn't see any vessels right here, but with sub-UV mode, there are a lot of angulated vessels. Can you see?
Yeah,
all
that's true.
those, yeah, they're all vessels. And we have a lot of melanophages here. All those black dots are melanophages, you see, and vessels. And here again, you can see the vessels and melanophages, and again melanophages. And this is all regressive part, and the upper part is the invasive part. So here, sub-UV mode, and in sub-UV mode, there's ochre color. Can you see? It's like a coppery color. And recently, this was described by Christian and Pavel. They say that if we see this color, ochre color, we can guess that this is an invasive melanoma, which is thicker than 1 millimeter. And here we can also see this coloration. And this is the regressive part. You can see vessels are also visible with UV mode.
Oh, very nice.
Really
So
nice.
you think that vessels are enhanced by the sub-UV mode?
Yeah, it's much more pronounced. Here you can see
Okay.
all the vessels. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some white structureless areas and vessels and melanophages.
And finally, which was the thickness there?
1.1, number of mitosis is 5, and there's no ulceration here.
Mhm.
So what's your approach now?
Excellent.
Sentinel lymph node
How
biopsy for
old?
sure.
How old?
50.
No, excellent.
Yeah,
By the way,
1.1.
there is a last question, which is also important. Melanoma associated with a nevus. Can we predict in these cases through the thickness?
Much more difficult, I would say.
Yeah.
Much more difficult.
It's the one that I showed, for example, with the negative network. It's way more difficult. Way more difficult because you have the simplest thing, a dermal nevus with a melanoma in situ developing around it, but you never know if some component of the nevus has turned into invasive. It's way more difficult to predict.
Especially for the ones that develop really inside the
Yes.
nevus. For example, in congenital nevi, that's really tough
Yeah.
to predict the thickness. For the ones that develop outside the nevus, like close to the dermal nevus, might be more feasible, but the ones that develop inside, I mean, if you think about the criteria we use to diagnose them are anyhow, I mean, it's negative network. And negative network is, I mean, we cannot predict the thickness that it corresponds to. And the gray polygonal lines, again, I mean, we cannot be sure what thickness they correspond to. So it's really tough.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Perfetto.
Sebi is
Sebi
putting
start
us.
Sebbi, Sebbi, Sebbi.
Come on, Sebi.
Sebi.
Where should we join them? I didn't see it.
At IMCAS.
At IMCAS. We have to go to IMCAS once.
Are you going?
I know that Emilio is always going there. Huh?
I've
like to
never
see-
I've never been to IMCAS.
I've been many times, but this year I will not go.
Bad luck. Bad luck.
Okay,
Great.
guys, what else do we have to do? There is a question there. Would genetic test help to identify this? What this? I don't understand. What do you mean? Genetic test to help identify what?
Invasive. Nice.
Invasiveness?
No,
Maybe.
No.
don't think so.
No. No.
No. So
Wonderful. I'm trying to download the PowerPoint from Daria. So it's
I
better
can,
that you go first with Penelope.
of course.
Of course. You said it very conspicuously. Of course.
Penelope. Penelope.
Is there a song with Penelope?
Huh?
Is there a song with Penelope? Oh, there is one, I think.
A Greek one, you mean?
Yeah.
Greek ones probably, but
Yeah.
okay. There we go. Prop, prop, prop,
That.
prop, prop.
Mhm.
73. Year-old man, recent history of nodular melanoma on the back, pink plaque on the leg, unknown duration. And that's it, full of vessels, full of vessels. Coil,
Brownish color, by the
Bubbles.
way.
brownish color. I also see a
Bubbles.
spermatozoan-like vessel there, I have to say here. Very good. What's your diagnosis? Bowens, Nisa said, of course, that's very
Bubbles.
reasonable. Monomorphic glomerular vascular pattern disturbance of the entire lesional surface, milky red to brown structureless background. And that was a dermatofibroma. Dermatofibroma. Yeah. As many times I said, if we did not have palpation, guys, dermatofibroma would be the most tricky tumor to diagnose.
Ever, yes, agreed.
There are so many examples of dermatofibromas that morphologically look like whatever you can imagine, but they are much easier in practice because of palpation. Next one, forearm, 58, palpable blue brownish lesion evolving for 4 months. That's dermoscopy. Okay, that's the dermoscopy again. We see some vessels, but mainly structural colors. Blue, a little bit of white, brown, of course, in the background. Sclerosing nevus could be combined nevus, blue nevus, dermatofibroma, melanoma, or whatever else.
It seems vascular to me for some reason. I would go with traumatized hemangioma on the background of a nevus, whatever.
Yeah, or
Collision.
Combined news for me.
combined nevus, yeah. Or this vascular component also could be the aneurysmal part of
Yeah, a dermatofibroma, yeah.
Dermatofibroma.
also. But it's exogenous blue pigmentation. That's one of the let's say, signature Penelope cases.
Yeah.
Foreign body, probably of vegetal nature.
Mm.
With
Well, let me tell you, I would never ever, I'm not jealous about Penelope's patients. Not at all. I'm not. These are very peculiar patients, let me tell you. Don't ever try to work in France. No way.
Yeah, but I will avoid that.
Okay, then arm, 37-year-old, history of melanoma 2 years ago, firm raised lesion of unknown duration on the right arm. Come on.
Eh,
Eh,
eh.
okay. Dermatofibroma, first glance.
That should be a dermatofibroma. Come on.
Yeah.
Dermatofibroma, of course, many white shiny lines, of course, scar, of course, the pigment at the periphery.
Dermatofibroma.
Central white patch, white polarizing structures, exactly. Dotted vessels, yeah. Delicate rim of brown pigmentation, dermatofibroma. Wow, that was not the Penelope case.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
is an Italian patient.
Yeah, that was too expected, too expected. Very good. Then on the thigh, brown lesion, flat. Okay. Okay. Again, a lot of white shiny things.
Probably
White
DF
shiny
as well.
lines.
Chemosclerotic DF.
DF.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
DF.
Okay,
Or-
so this is Wise Emilio. Wise Emilio. Wise Emilio is saying when white lines are too many, it's a good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
When white lines are too many, then it's a good thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which increases a lot the probability of a good thing, of dermatofibroma in particular. What else it could be except of a dermatofibroma? Severely traumatized nevus, like the sclerosing one, but the location is completely wrong for this. Sclerosing nevi are usually on the back, but okay. So in the end, it is what is it? Clues: white network, fine, delicate
DF,
peak
DF.
network, white polarizing and vascular structure. gray, blue, brown, red structureless pattern. Okay, aneurysmal dermatofibroma. So all good.
All
When
good.
many white shiny lines, think positive. And finally, Sebastiano, are you ready?
Yes.
Ready for the abdominal wall with this huge lesion with recent history of breast cancer. Small subtle pink lesion on the abdominal wall for 2 months. That's dermoscopy. Again, many white shiny lines.
Now this is melanoma.
Melanoma.
Because of breast cancer is called botuloma. Botuloma.
Loma. Why do you mean because of the breast cancer metastasis?
Metastasis, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
Come
It's
on.
generally multiple, not solitary.
Come
So
on.
it's
Excision in all
not-
cases. We'll take this out.
Why don't you trust the rule? White shiny lines are a good thing when they are many.
DF.
I
Then
think so.
dermatofibroma.
I think so. White shine polarizing center, posterior pattern, faintly pigmented structures background. Okay, another dermatofibroma. So that was the dermatofibroma day.
Yes, it was.
But the final should be melanoma, Pascal.
This helped us to remember this very nice rule of the many white shiny lines, which brings us to Daria. Are you ready, Jeppy?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready for Daria. Let me share my screen. Let me share. Here we are. Okay, I didn't have even the time to check, so it will be so 1 patient, 2 lesions, face. Okay, just a moment. PowerPoint is very heavy. Okay, here we are. Face, orange color. Orange color plus face means many things, including shine. This is 5 nanometers. I don't know how to interpret this. Yeah. So this can be lupus, the
Sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis.
Yeah. It could be also lymphoma, no?
No, the vessels.
No.
Sarcoidosis.
Too many vessels for lymphoma. By the way, I love this video dermoscopy. Answers. Face, shiny. Okay.
Sarcoidosis.
Yes. Sarcoidosis. Wonderful. No. What's that?
There are 2.
Nice.
This is okay. This is the shin.
Necrobiosis lipoidica.
Nice.
Wow. Very nice.
That's
Look at
beautiful.
how beautiful are these images. It's impressive. Thank you, Daria. So it's very impressive because, of course, location is influencing our way of thinking. So if we see a lot of vessels and orange color, we should think about necrobiosis lipoidica, but since it was the face, we didn't think about it. Wonderful, wonderful.
Debbie.
Which dermatoscope gives you the possibility to switch through 4 color temperatures? With the Heine Delta 30 Pro, you can adjust the color temperature to your individual preferences, evaluation algorithm, or challenges during examination. Adjust the color temperature to suit your own viewing habits at the touch of a button. Warm white, neutral white, cold white, bluish white. In addition, thanks to the arrangement of the LEDs, the light penetrates deep into the layers of the skin. for a very good assessment of the spatial structure of a lesion, and for easier differentiation between dark and white structures and patterns during polarization.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Are we ready?
Grande, grande, grande. Yes, we are ready for Kahoot, right? But let me tell you, I have to say goodbye to you guys because I have a flight to catch. And
Have a
therefore,
nice flight. Have a nice and safe flight.
thank you. I'm going to miss the Kahoot. I'm very sorry.
Go, my friend. Safe
I
flight.
love you, my friends. I
Love you
love
so
you
much.
Ciao,
both.
ciao. Safe flight. Safe
Ciao,
flight.
ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, 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 ciao.
Okay, ready? Do you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you see also the pin?
Not yet.
I know now.
Yes.
Amigos, is it difficult?
Well, not very, not very difficult. Not one of the worst.
By the way, there's a nice question. Thank you
Say-
for the lecture and info. Could you please discuss how to manage the pigmented lesions after the removal? If benign lesion, dermal nevus with a little pigment was removed with laser, and some pigment comes after healing, should we biopsy it and be worried, or just check it regularly and see whether the pigment network changes somehow? I think
that's a nice topic. Maybe it's not easy to answer with just with one phrase, but maybe it's a nice topic to discuss in one of the episodes.
yeah, actually,
Recurrent pigmentation.
yeah, and management of dermal nevi and all those things for nice topic.
Okay, I think we are good. We have many people that already connected, so we can start. Do you hear the music also?
I can.
No music.
No, it's gone.
No, I also don't have any music. Anyhow, very good. So that's the case number 1. You see 4 images in the panel, A, B, C, and D.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, how many of them are LP-LKs? Possible answers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have music now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was more difficult than what I thought. All of them were LP-LKs. The first and the third, maybe the classic one. The B and D. Do you remember how we call them? Do you remember?
Llopiris like.
Yeah, liver is
Llopiris
like
keratosis.
keratosis.
Exactly. Very good. So 25 people found the correct answer. Among them, Ticoma, Gepa, and Jeppy's flight are in the first 3 places, which brings us to case number 2. You see in the inguinal fold almost, erythematous and slightly scaly lesion. That's the close-up, clinical.
Mm-hmm.
And that is dermoscopy.
Okay.
And now comes the quiz. What is this? Is this an LPLK, a BCC, a Paget, sarcoidosis, bowenoid papulosis, or melanoma? Finally, it appears to be a difficult one.
It is a difficult one.
Yeah. So, of course, Paget was a reasonable guess based on the location, but not based on the morphology. The morphology was a Llopiris-like keratosis, my friend.
It was.
Yeah.
It was with this
A little
orange,
bit orange. Yeah.
orange, exactly, with very small vessels. And by the way, also a few white, shiny, probably white, shiny
Yeah.
lines, but quite many, I would say. So an LPLK again, which brings lay to the first place, followed by MD and ZZZ, which brings us to case number 3. Case number 3 is on the lower back, flat again, erythematous, not really scaly lesion. That is the close-up. A few scales maybe there are on the surface. And that is the very interesting dermatoscopic image.
Hmm.
And the question is, which is the diagnosis? Only 4 options here: LPLK again, Bowen, BCC, or melanoma.
Another LPLK.
Dermoscopically, it's weird, but clinically, it was very well demarcated.
Okay, that was the most difficult Kahoot of the year until now.
Yeah, I think so.
In all the questions, we have 25 correct answers. That's it.
It's unbelievable. I didn't guess that this is a melanoma.
Yeah, my God, that's a quite scary
Yeah,
melanoma with a
it's
lot of dotted
crazy.
vessels. Yeah, scary. With a
Yeah.
lot of dotted vessels and white shiny lines. Kind of remnants of pigment a little bit at the periphery, which is not even well captured in the photograph, but in the live examination, it was a little bit easier to see. But one of the scary melanomas that, in fact, here, I mean, in the first visit, we did a punch biopsy because of uncertainty. And thank God we did a punch biopsy, because the alternative would be Bowen's as a diagnosis, which means that
Yeah.
You
could have
burn
been
it.
treated with
Well, it's
cryotherapy.
really a surprise. I didn't
Yeah.
expect that this is a melanoma. I just think that LPLK or BCC, something like that here.
BCC maybe not, because there are too many dotted vessels, but
Yeah. I cannot see the dotted vessels. Just thin and white.
there are many.
Yeah.
There are many.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but maybe the
Great
teaching
case.
point here is that although you could think that it could be a Bowen's or an LPLK, definitely it's not one of the lesions that you are confident to diagnose. You could accept several options, but you're not confident to diagnose them. And for those, a biopsy is absolutely advisable. Which brings, lay is still in the first place, followed by spritz, lady, not spitz, spritz, and MD, which brings us to question number 4, that consists of a panel of 2 lesions, both of them located on the upper back of women middle-aged, both of them very suspicious, of course. Already from the clinical point of view. That is dermoscopy of the 2 lesions. And the question is, which one is thicker? Left, right, or same thing? Oh my God.
Emilius, it turns out it was a difficult Kahoot.
Let me tell you, now that I was looking at the images again, I expected that people would vote for the one on the left, let me tell you, not the one on the right. Why did they vote for the one on the right? I'm not sure.
Well, 2 reasons. One, there's extensive regression, so they think
Okay.
that, and 2, if you go on the clinical, if you go back, like if you click back on the,
I can.
yes, you can, on the lower left.
I cannot.
Yes, you can. Move your arrow on the lower left. You see those? Yes. Press back. The right one looks way more raised.
Yeah.
Well, there is a part here which is raised and also a part here which is raised.
It's a bit more fuzzy, the image on the left. On the right, it's more crisp, and you see like
Yeah.
a raised.
Anyhow, but in reality, the colors are similar. I mean, we
Yes,
we
true.
see in
Yeah.
both of them a hint of blue, a hint of gray, not much, not extensive. And I mean, it's, I would say, reasonable that they are of a similar thickness. By the way, they differ only for 0.1. The one of them is 1.3 and the other one is 1.4. So they are practically same thickness. And
Was there
this brings
ulceration
us,
in the second one, Emilios?
what?
Ulceration in the second one?
Yeah.
Was there ulceration in the histopathology report?
In
Or the second one?
In the pathology report, I don't
Uh-huh.
remember. I remember that they are of the same status, both of them.
Oh.
I think ulcerated. I think both of them ulcerated. Which now brings us to the last question. First, the
Cool.
score. Athicoma came back again in the first place. Jodina and Lay. Which brings us to
You
the
need to understand, Emilius, that the leaders are with 2 correct answers, and all of them in different questions. It's like all over the place.
which is going to bring us to the third, to the last question, which refers to a topic that we did not discuss today, but we did discuss.
Wait, just one
previously.
interruption. Someone did a reaction, and his name or her name was Love KL. I love you too. Oh,
So based on dermoscopy, which one has a worse prognosis? Left, right, or similar prognosis? $25, always $25.
always 25. Always 25.
So it's the 25 Kahoot. So the one on the left, based on dermoscopy, should have a worse prognosis because there is a blue-white veil, while on the right, there is extensive regression. And as we discussed in the last episode, extensive regression is a good prognostic feature, while blue-white veil is a negative prognostic feature. And in fact, by the way, the melanoma on the left was metastatic already to the lymph nodes, while the one on the right was not. And this brings us to the hero winner of the day. Let's see. Third place, Luli. Bravo, Luli. Second place goes to HZ. And first place will go to MD.
Bravo, MD.
MD. Congratulations.
Ah, it's Maria Davidi.
Bravo.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Maria, come on in.
Oh my God, I'm so proud, so proud.
You should be.
Yeah, and Maria is not the first time that she wins. It's the second or third.
At
I
least
don't
the
remember.
second, at least.
At least the second. Yeah.
She's working with you, right, Emilios?
Yes.
Ah.
And this is
Do you
brilliant.
think that this represents a bias for the win? No,
No.
no, of course not. Of course not. Where is Maria? Show up, show up, show up. No, oh, you see, also Andrea said that it's not a bias. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you so much. Here you are, here you are.
Πού είσαι ρε Μαρία?
Show up.
Τα κατάφερα.
Ναι.
Hello.
Hey,
Μπράβα Μαρία,
Hello.
μπράβα.
Thank you.
congratulations. But the new
Thank you
thing,
once again for these sessions, and it's the first time for this year.
yeah. How do you feel that you won the most difficult, as it showed up in the end, the most difficult Kahoot?
I didn't expect to win actually, but I'm proud of.
You should be. You should be. You know,
You
the new
should be.
thing. The
It
new
was
thing
very hard.
after that last time that Maria won again, the new thing is that she is now also a mama.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations Maria.
Yes.
Yes, the baby slept and I was opened
Slept.
the webinar.
I thought that he was watching with you the happy hour, no?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
How old is
What's
he?
his name?
4 months, 4.5.
He or
That's
she?
one.
He.
Boy.
He.
George. We're gonna tell
Yeah.
him.
Very good. Excellent.
Kiss him for
Excellent.
Thank you
us.
very much.
Maria, congratulations. Many congrats. And
Thank you,
guys,
thank you.
thank you all very much
Thank you for
being
being here, guys.
today. See you all next Sunday.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye
Selby.
bye bye.